When did you get in touch with Bhuvan? And how long have you been like working with that guy?
So let's go back to the date I mentioned, 19th Feb. After that, like on 19th Feb also, he came with a band called Astitva that I worked with after that. So he came with them to perform at that wedding,
Oh,
which where we didn't meet actually. We like I knew who this guy is, and somehow like then the production house started giving me Hindustan Times work. Like I used to go for Rahagiri. Rahagiri happens in Delhi.
yeah.
Used to happen back then, I'm sure. So so I used to go to Dwarka to cover it, and Bhuvan used to perform there as a final performance or second last performance of the day. And he had a gripping audience. He had that thing in him that he used to grip the audience. And he's a musician, if you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
because he used to do like acoustic music act. So backstage, the way we used to interact, and then we used to hang. So that's how we became friends. Then I was promoted to Rahagiri CP, and he was getting famous. So he also started performing in Rahagiri CP. So somehow we were connected throughout. And when BBQ Wines became big, he had to get his events covered. He used to call me up, and then that's where the journey started. And because I was there with him, he has respect and love for me. And it's like he's my elder brother.
Right. So, hello, the good people over the internet. Today we have with us none other than Tushar Mahajan. He's a Delhi-based cinematographer and a photographer. He covers food, model, product photography, and whatnot you can think of. He has worked with IFP, the India Film Project. Also worked with all of our favorite BVK Wines, which is Bhuvan Bam, and also he's a TEDx speaker. Well, the list continues. Once again, Tushar, thank you so much for taking some time out to do this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for calling me. Thank you for taking out your time for
No,
this.
no, you should be
And
like, thank you for disturbing me.
no, nothing of that sort. Of course, nothing of that sort.
But like, how have you been? Like before we come to the chat, how have you been all the day?
Been really good. Have been changing things around, going through a transition. So it's great. It's working in favor also. Some it's tricky also because you're trying something new every time.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm enjoying the process. It's nice.
Yep.
You tell me how is the channel going? How is everything working around for
How is
you?
it? Like, yeah, fantastic. So everything is going really well. So I started this podcast like 3 to 4 months back. In regards to my sole idea was okay. So there's basically a lot of there's a current rise in emerge of creative industries all over, filmmakers, photographers, musicians, whatnot. So being a musician myself, I thought, okay, why not let's create a platform where everyone can come and learn certain things. So I've talked with a lot of guests from music industry to photography to cinematographer, like one of you productions. First and foremost, I was watching all of your like some of your tech talks and all of the podcasts you've done with other people. I was talking you basically, and I found out that you were like not you were somehow into photography. So tell us that journey. Like, did you choose photography consciously, cinematography consciously, or do you just fall into it with time?
So photography was when it comes to a profession, I never choose. I never had the opportunity to think of photography as a profession. I was just to utilize my time better and to also uh, get away from things that I wanted to get away from. I started photography. Then it tried eventually it was growing on me in a way that I wanted to do it more often. And while
Mhm.
doing that, and I was fortunate to get right opportunities at right time. I didn't realize when I started working as a professional.
Wow.
So I like that happened, and videography was a conscious decision because till then because I was working as a photographer. I knew that the kind of effort I am putting in to create also and also to earn. So in both the segments, videography helps me better because when I'm creating something, I can express it further better in terms of video format because I get more frames, movement, and everything is so easy in terms of framing stuff and highlighting that story out there. Also, it was the need of the hour because everybody was making reels out of their work, not reels that we see today, like show reels and all of those reels.
Mhm.
So it was a mandate also somehow that you need to know both the things. And then when it comes to getting into filmmaking as a whole, so that was when I realized that yeah, I'm interested in doing this, and this is something which helps me create content in a better way. So of course, like as a photographer, when you work, when I was working at the kind of fields, I was limitations in terms of amount of money that I earn and also scope of money that I earn. And I won't say like photographers don't earn great money. I'm just saying that if you have a camera and if that can fields, and I can be busy working on photography as well as videography, I can utilize more dates in terms of earning money. So why
Mhm.
not? And it's a new thing I back to explore now. It's my prime job. Like I'm majorly doing videography more and photography less.
Wow. Like we all wish, as from Indian households, we all wish our passion became a profession. And in your case, it happened unconsciously, and that's just fantastic. So, when did you like start doing all of these? What was the date and
I
time
had
and
to
year?
actually, I had to put in efforts to get my household also intact with it
Ah,
because when I started, I was in college. So like I used to get a particular amount to run my entire month, in which travel was included. So the kind of lifestyle I wanted and everything that I wanted in life was not fitting in well in that bracket. So for me, it was better to earn at that point of time. So like by the end of my college, I had my own studio. So that
wow.
actually gave them some confidence to trust me with
Mhm.
my process and all of those things. I have deliberately done. I have done good like rights and wrongs both. But yeah, like it's a risk taking job to follow your passion, but you have to if you have to.
I love that. You have to, if you have to. And as Indian families, we all know how we really want to follow our passion, but sometimes our families are like, unko bhi patana padega. They have to come together to actually, hone it, because it's kind of a team game. If everyone supports in certain way, the work you do is like, ask the 40 thing or something of that sort, right? So you mentioned a really interesting thing as like, what do you think as a creative professional yourself? What do you think, like, families do today, in today's time, families do support creativity? Jao jao YouTuber ban jao passion follow karo. So it's now on the rise. So what are the factors that for example, a creative person wants a family's approval? कि यार यहाँ कर लो ये जाकर. Like, what are the thresholds and points? Like, you have to achieve something like they could see. Mhm.
See, I feel now I'm 26, so I can say this out loud because though I am still young, but I have felt how parents feel, and I have seen how people think. Like, if for example I was a dad, how would I think? And what would I want to guide my son or my daughter
Mm.
to do?
Mm.
So I'm thinking like that also. Now I have that like age and experience. So I
Mhm.
feel that when parents restrict you or probably try and support you, both of them happens in in a way that how what kind of experiences have they had and
Yeah.
what kind of life they come from, what kind of background they come from. Do
Yeah.
they think that they can financially support you even when you fall? or are they scared that you might just lose out on whatever is remaining? So that plays a very very important role in the kind of GDP we live in, the kind of country we are in, and the kind of earnings people have. It's for the major population, it's a very big risk. Like not everybody is filthy rich or probably rich enough to afford any sort of risk, and risk is
Yeah.
something Indians don't take. That our like banking system itself is a perfect example for that. I'll not get there, but then yeah, that also plays a vital role. And then comes POV. So the max you can do, you at the age of 17 or 18, rather than thinking of all these factors, I would rather suggest people to think of, are they like totally into what they're doing? Are they sure about what they are doing? And if they're sure about what they're doing, I think because they're the ones who are restricting you or supporting you are your parents. So for some families it might take time, for some families they might just let it be, for some they might just stick to it. Again, I'll say it, if you have to do it, you have to do it anyhow. I'm not saying go fight with your parents, just try and make them understand. And I'm not saying run away from your house, because that's
Not a
technically not
solution.
the right way to go about
Hmm.
it. Because yeah, because I stay in Bombay right now, my family stays in Delhi, so I know the value of having a family around. And
Yeah.
it's not like I miss Delhi at all. I don't miss Delhi at all. But I would have wanted them to be somewhere around that I could, whenever in my highs and lows, I can just be around them. So that will be there always. But at the end of the day, you have to spend a lifetime with yourself. You have to earn money out of something that you should love doing. Because
And a
if
good amount of
it's not
money.
like you are working for 5 years, like
Hmm.
yeah, and if it's not like you are going to do that thing for 5 years or 6 years, it's a long lasting thing. It's
Yeah.
been 8 years to 8, 9 years to me working as a professional already. And I know that I'm 26, I'll be working another 25, 50, like not 25, 30 years if I live that long. So if you have to carry on with something like that, you have to have that confidence in you. And of course, at the age of 17, when you have not done anything, you'll not have that. But
Hmm.
you'll have to believe in yourself and trust the process.
Hmm. So basically, what I personally think as well as is like whenever something strikes in your head, always carry a pen and paper. Like this is what I used to do back when I started my career as a musician. So I thought, okay, let me research all the things, let me research the entire Indian music market. Let me write down the names. Okay, these are the things, these are music, these are genres of the music. What do I like? How will I get there? This, that, channels, and blah blah. So I also see that currently there's a lot of rise in this popular gurus on YouTube telling you to believe in yourself and do things. But I think it's from my side. I would say it's also very essential to write things down, to do it practically hands on. Otherwise, there's just a waste of time. You'll keep thinking and you'll be like 70 years old already, right? So fantastic
Of
point by
course.
you as well. Hmm.
So for my videos, my music videos, and everything that I do till date, I do it handwritten. Like I make handwritten notes so I can relate to
Hmm.
what you're saying, because I always feel when I'm thinking of something, I cannot, miss out on anything, because every element of my thought is interconnected and will help me reach out to the final thing that I wish to do. And when I do it, then I have interns who, like, my intern who can read my shitty handwriting and figure out what I'm trying to say. So
True
then, for the
confidence.
world, for the people that I work for, he'll make that document and everything and all of that thing align. So I am solving both my purposes and I'm not missing out on anything. Like, so that's why I would say, if you have ideas, you should write it down, because ideas, you'll not even realize, even like in a 24-hour cycle, you might just miss out one or small fine thought that it is nice, but then eventually it was, you don't know it anymore. So it's better to write it down, so that whenever you sit down back to say page one, that okay, this is what I was thinking about, and this is what I was trying to say. Now let's proceed with a reality.
Exactly. And also, there's no guarantee that once in a certain moment of time, what you're thinking will come back again and hit your brain. So you have to write it down in case you forget. Right. Um,
For sure. For sure.
exactly. Uh,
For sure.
so, in a context of you being a photographer and a cinematographer, so did you go to a institute to learn professionally, or you're self-taught? Worked really, like worked your ass off in doing that? Or you're smiling.
So I never had the opportunity to have a learning. So it's a very funny thing that whenever I meet people in like Bombay, so most of the DOPs are not learned. They are self-taught DOPs because they come from a very small town or
Hmm.
they have their own set of problems. So one say that it's very important to get educated. One say that it's not very important to get educated. I stand right in between. Getting educated is a one different thing altogether, not from an institute, but from anywhere possible. Either you
Ah,
assist or you do it yourself. So education can happen any which way. Education is knowledge about what you are doing.
exactly.
Is as simple as that. So if I want to get educated about cinema, then I should watch films more often. I should watch YouTube videos about the technicalities. I should watch YouTube videos of the brands who are releasing the products of different variety, different camera sensors and all of those things. So that I get better understanding of how the product performs. And tomorrow, if I'm shooting something, I should know what device I'm having and how
Hmm.
that device works. So that's the education bit. When it
Hmm.
comes to the skill part, if you have it, you have it. If you don't have it, you can push for it, but you cannot have it. Like it's not for yourself. So I know my limitation. The best people in the business know their limitation, and I always say that more than knowing your strength, you should know your limitation, because that's when you can figure out how to
Hmm.
utilize your strength and stand a step ahead. It's pure strategy. Shoot,
Hmm.
shoot it in a way that you don't make other person realize that okay, he was not able to do it like that. That's the strength of
Oh,
knowing your strengths and knowing your weakness. To know how to emote your expression, like thought, to know how to get the essence of that shot out. I fail. A lot of times I fail, and I know that. Knowing that itself is an achievement for me, and knowing that helps me improve that the next time. So I strongly feel it's like getting educated in an institute might as well not add anything to me, because in that scenario, maybe the teachers who are teaching or the kind of interest I should have, if I'm not involved in the process really well, how does it matter? Like the world's best DOP comes and tells me something and I'm not
ah,
listening to it. And
exactly.
how does it matter if I'm putting my entire day's efforts to find out that world's best person's interviews online, and searching for it and listening to it and trying to relate to what he's saying. So
That's the advantage
education is
also we
how
have.
important.
Like also that's the advantage we have in the times of internet. Like we have YouTube University, which I call YouTube University, Google University, Instagram University. You can go and watch reels and understand. Okay, this is the camera angle for this kind of reels. I understand. So what if I try to,
I
it's endless.
feel uh, we are fortunate that every week one like one Bollywood, one Kannada or Telugu or uh, Punjabi film gets released in India.
Hmm.
At least, if not more, two Hollywood films get released in outside of India. So if that's the number of content which is flowing in, and then OTT, I'm not even counting right now.
Ah,
If you have that much content already, then I think education is not stopping anywhere. If you are willing to learn, you just watch it and learn it. How to get
exactly.
it is, of course, a question mark. But to you, the question mark first, and then you'll try and answer those questions. Now, I work with people who are either doing this level of work, or know who does this level of work, and I can get connected with them,
Mm.
and then I can ask them these questions who managed to do it. And most now, after a few such questions, I don't have such questions because I know the logic, right? The
Ah.
logic
So you
needs to
got the
be
essence.
clear in your head. The processes are multiple. Yeah, the process is multiple. Like, to get one thing done, you can do it 10 different ways, but then what has been done should be clear in your head कि हुआ क्या यहाँ
Mm.
पर. जब वो पता है तो उसके बाद how it's done is something way, or probably you'll try and ask people around and you'll get opinions on that.
Mm.
So, like, education is important. Even after education, you need to get educated throughout your life. So it's a
Ah.
process. It will just give you an advantage, but it's not like it's done. Like, if you have gone to college, you are done. You have to practice it, and the real time scenario working is totally different from what you are ready for, or you've been briefed,
Mm.
because while working things are different. So once you land up on floor for a shoot, you'll realize what reality is, and then you'll have to learn again. So that's a ongoing process, and I think that get into a school where I could learn the technicals of a camera. But I was fortunate enough to be working with the right kind of people who could guide me to what to do and what not to do.
Exactly. Wow. This is interesting. So basically, education is just it's a journey, it's a process. It's not a point where you go and get stuck. Right. Well,
Yeah,
interesting. That's a very
true.
perfect point. I love that. So when did you get your first professional work, and how did you get that? And what was your excitement level at?
It was 19th of Feb 2015
Oh, you
when
remember clearly.
I was, yeah, of course I do.
Of course.
So
Yep.
I
Mhm.
I've done, before that I've done did a basic course of photography back then.
Mhm.
So I got a call one night before, like on 18th, I received a call saying that I have some XYZ work early in the morning. There's this wedding event happening. So can you fill in for me for 3 hours? So I was like, why not? I was about to get 500 rupees paid for that deed. I was pretty excited. I was not supposed to carry my own camera, my gear, nothing. I had nothing any which way. So somebody will have to provide me that. So I went for that shoot. Then I met this guy, Shanu Chauhan. Like owner of a production house who does weddings. And back then I just knew that he does weddings. So all of that
Mm.
happened. He asked me a question like, have you used single series cameras? So Canon single series at the pro level cameras.
Okay.
Back then 6D was one, 5D was one. So 6D was the one that he wanted to give it to me for the shoot, and I was like, yeah, give me 5 minutes, I'll figure out.
Wow.
I saw the camera, I went through the camera. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to shoot. I've never used Flash before that, so I'm like going crazy with the fact that I can light the space any which way. So I was supposed to work for 3 hours, but I ended up working for 20 hours. And
20.
because I 20 hours. So I was been told that because you have done the rest of the penny out. But I met this guy, Shanu Chauhan, and I think that's the biggest earning that I could have, because eventually he shaped my career in a way that I could learn things, I could work, which is the most important thing to crack, to get
Mhm.
opportunities to work. He liked my work so much that he told me that the guy who brought me in for this work, I personally didn't like his work as much as I liked yours. And I was like, great, I'll try and keep it up. And then we worked for good 6, 7 months. Then we parted ways. Some commercial side of working happened. So yeah, it's interesting. I have done college events. I have done live events, all the concerts and everything. More than 400 concerts.
Wow.
and
So from all the
then
bands from India or international as well?
few international bands as well. Like I've worked with some of them were international acts also,
Hmm.
majorly independent artists, and
So I saw you work with Euphoria as well.
then I yes, yes, yes. So
Hmm.
Euphoria has been one of the major, you know, major pillars of my life because like these guys, I always say one thing for music bands that I've worked with and people that I've worked with. So Bhuvan Bam gave me popularity. Euphoria gave me authenticity. And there's this band called Agastya, the first band I started working with as a permanent guy. Uh, Three major pillars in my life. I have pretty more, but initially I had three. So Agastya was the one who used to give me work, which eventually helped me, find a route. Then came a band called Astitva. They gave
Wow.
me money, which was important to pay my bills. Then came stability in Bhuvan Bam's life. Like BBQ Wines became a thing, and then we were working for a long, long time, even before that also, even before the formation of BBQ Wines. So that guy
Wow.
helped me gain popularity.
Mhm.
So with him, I could like reach out to an audience, and Euphoria was like a stamp on your work
Mhm.
that okay, this guy is working with
Approved.
these guys. He's serious. He's seriously. The rest of the people are also doing serious work, but like for me, it was life changing because my parents started taking me seriously. Like
Wow.
for me, it's very important because my parents were like, "You're working with Euphoria, okay, that's cool now. Now you are going on the right track."
So you have
I
to
was
like
like,
show some
okay.
results. There has to be some material,
So,
you know.
of course, of course, of course. See, you need to pay some bills.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So
Mm.
it is also a way of gaining like some confidence in people around you. So you have to do things that you if even if you not do doesn't take away the fact that you are an artist, but has to be there so that people support the fact that you are an artist.
Ah, so there has to be stands and pillars which will like act as a, you are an artist, you have a personality, you have an identity. Just working, not getting money and all of that is not gonna help, right?
Yeah.
So perhaps the most important question. When did you get in touch with Bhuvan? How long have you been like working with that guy?
So let's go back to the date I mentioned, 19th Feb. After that, like on 19th Feb also he came with a band called Astitva that I worked
Oh,
with after that. So he came with them to perform at that wedding, which
oh.
where we didn't meet actually. We like I knew who this guy is, and somehow like then the production house started giving me Hindustan Times work. Like I used to go for Rahagiri. Rahagiri happens
Hmm.
in Delhi. Used
Uh-huh.
to happen back then, I'm sure. So so I used to go to Dwarka to cover it, and Bhuvan used to perform there as a final performance or second last performance of the day. And he had a gripping audience. He had that thing in him that he
Mhm.
used to grip the audience. And he's a musician, if you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
because he's a musician, he used to do a like acoustic music act.
Hmm.
So backstage, the way we used to interact, and then we used to hang. So that's how we became friends. Then I was promoted to Rahagiri CP, and he was getting famous. So he also started performing in Rahagiri CP. So somehow we were connected throughout. And when BBQ Wines became big, he had to get his events covered. He used to call me up, and then that's where the journey started. And because I was there with him, he has respect and love for me. And it's like he's my elder brother.
Hmm.
So that we have come that long path, and we have seen things together. We have been through things together. So that's how we like became friends and then brothers. And now like I don't usually work a lot with BBQ Minds because I have things that I need to cater, and I
Hmm.
think which are very important for my career also. And he respects that, and the team respects that. Rohit Bhai and Omkar Arvind. So
Hmm.
all of them are supportive, and now like it's more like family. It's not like because I work with them, I work with them.
Wow, that's a sweet love story.
Yeah,
um,
it is a love story.
Fantastic. So the last you worked with Bhuvan Bam was in the web series, the fantastic series Dindora, right?
Yes.
So how was like how do you feel working over there? Like, did you get a call from Bhuvan like, yeah, like web series banana hai, like will you come and be our person?
So back then, I used to work actively for BBK Vines. So it's not like there was a conversation about it. I knew that I'm doing it. So whenever this video comes out, like the behind the scenes of Dindora, you'll see that it's not just a behind the scene, because I had such a close access to Bhuvan. I could actually capture, the tiny bits of everything. It's a documentary.
Hmm.
So it will come out when probably uh, these guys come out with another season, and they've or probably after multiple Hindoras they wish to do something. Then it will come out and it will showcase the journey that we followed. It took us 2 years to take this show out, and with heavy technicalities. Now he's been doing. So I have not been involved in any of the new upcoming web series that he's been a part of, but I've been actively going to the set. Like whenever and however I get time, I go to the set. I see. It's good for me also to see what is happening, how things
Hmm.
work,
Again,
and
go and
it's like a
learn.
knowledge. It's a knowledge gaining activity for me, and plus more than that, it's like I know that my brother is doing something and to an on a very higher level. So I want to be a part of it. I want to be around him to just push him, like, or probably just be around, and they have the
Wow.
capacity to perform their best, and they can probably put in the best in what they are doing.
So bringing the best out of everyone who is involved in such activities.
Of
Hmm.
course, of course.
Well, I really love how you construct the entire thing. Fantastic. What are your thoughts on creativity or pursuing your creative career?
So I think creativity is it's there. You can't take that fact out. The way you visualize things, or probably the way you sing or the act or whatever you do, it will always have an essence of what you have in yourself.
Hmm.
Nobody can take that away from you. Either you can do good or bad, but in the moment, but it's you eventually. So creativity and experimentation and everything is there. Now comes what you are doing and where you are doing it. If it's a commercial job, I have a brief from the client. I'll not neither waste my time or their time in having a conversation about the fact that we should do it like this. Until unless somebody asks me for it. If
Hmm.
the client has worked with an agency, they have thought through the entire process, they know what they want, and they make sense also because they are considering multiple factors that I am not considering.
Uh,
They're considering the brand value and the way they present everything. So I don't push anything there. So that's where I keep my creativity limited to the way I shoot. The moment I feel that okay, this should be done like this, I'll be vocal about it, but I won't be anal about it. When it comes to creativity in terms of quite often, like I miss doing street photography because I don't get time to. But
hmm.
now the fact that I have a camera, I'm sponsored by a brand, I need to deliver stuff to them every now and then with me, and I
Hmm.
keep clicking pictures and making videos wherever I go. So that's where my creativity stands out. That's where I get ideas. There are things that I might not capture on my, I'll just see and I'll be like, okay, someday I'll make use of this in a way. And this is like manifestation that whenever I see something beautiful or think about something beautiful, immediately after that in a couple of days time I get an opportunity, touch wood, I get an opportunity wherein I you can't take appointment for, it will hit you whenever it hits you. So you
Hmm.
just have to keep noting it down so that whenever and however you have to make use of it, you can make use of it. And while working on things that you are not a part of when it comes to the creative side, and you are just shooting it or probably just sorting somebody's technical requirements, then also you can probably depends on which position you stand there.
Hmm.
and who's there to listen or who's not going to listen at all. You can push in with your ideas or think of something different. But I think when it comes to commercials, you should not be anal about it, because corporates have a lot of efforts from their teams and they have thought through things. They sometimes they make no sense and sometimes they make a lot of sense. So you can't always be creative there. But yeah, when you are doing something of your own, or probably I'm directing something, I've been given entire, like I work with merchant records, and
Hmm.
they give me full freedom to do whatever I wish to do in videos.
And you're also
So
the
that's what I,
ambassador of Oppo India, right?
yeah. So I like they also give me freedom to work on my products,
Hmm.
like the work that I do. And it's a brilliant journey. Like I get enough opportunities to take out. So the thing is, like he'll come up to you, tell you his ideas, but he'll never restrict you. He'll never say that
Uh,
no, you have to
so
do it
you
like
explore in
this.
your own dimension.
Yeah, he's like, you are the director, you decide what to do. I'm just suggesting you that this looks fine to me. But and he respects the fact when I think I'm not confident about something that he's saying. I'll
Hmm.
tell him and he takes it very positively. So like I need those kind of people, and I've been fortunate to have such people around
Yeah.
me
Hmm.
who give me that
Exactly.
space to,
And it's
explore
kind
my
of very
ideas.
important to have that those kind of people in a space like that, where you're like constructive criticism. That's a very
Of
interesting
course,
thing.
of course, of course.
Mhm. Wow. Love what you said. Probably the last question for the entire podcast. Give 3 tips to a young professional who want to pursue a creative career on their own, especially in cinematography or photography.
So the first and the foremost important tip would be that do your homework right. Know that what you wish to do, what is this field all about, what all things are done here. Like, so education is something I think to keep yourself updated about what is happening, what are the trends, what
Do your
people are thinking.
R&D.
R&D properly.
Hmm.
Know what you wish to do, because knowing what you wish to do is very important. Or even if you can just tell yourself that okay, this is something which I don't want to do, don't restrict yourself there. Don't restrict yourself with the fact that acha mujhe nahi karna, because right now you are not the choosers, you are the beggars. Like if you're starting, you have to do certain things that you won't like. I don't like doing weddings. I've done weddings. I
Uh,
don't like
like
capturing
you
people
have
in
to.
clubs,
That's
but
the
I
stepping stone. Hmm.
have to. Like we you see, bro, if you want stability to do what you wish to do, you'll have to take some certain steps that you probably didn't like doing, but you have to do it. And
Yeah.
I feel that it's a learning that you wouldn't have ever got if you were very, very rigid with the thought that I'll not do it because I don't like doing it. I
Hmm.
can say that today because I have, like, the number of commitments I have is so much for me that I love doing. That's one, you have to be clear about what you're doing, how to do it. R&D should be on point. The second and the foremost important thing after that is to not just think,
Hmm. Act.
execute.
Practical. Hmm. Execute.
Be
Wow.
practical, do stuff, be social about what you're doing.
Network with people in your industry.
If you keep your art to yourself, if you think that someday some Christopher Nolan will land up on your page and see that, oh wow, Tushar, what are you doing? It's
Come on,
insane.
let's work.
That's not going to happen. You have
Uh,
to be social. There'll be many small creators or people around you whom you don't think are very big, but might just provide you enough work to make you big.
hmm.
So it's like that process, and you, like, if you're not getting anything, or if you're not able to reach out to the audience or probably showcase what you have thought of, then you will not have an audience of your own. Nobody is waiting for you to post something because there are millions of creators out there.
Yeah.
And you have to create your own niche, but before that you have to keep your social network there, meet people, understand things. So that's there. And the third thing is to not push yourself too much. Like, give a breather to yourself, see what is happening around. If you're working now, that you have started working, so just just see what is happening, what kind of work you are doing. Don't be very harsh on yourself. Don't be very light on
Also
yourself
see
as
and also like reflect back and see how much you've achieved.
how much you have achieved, what kind of work you're doing today. There's one beautiful thing that one told me once, and it whenever I'm in my lows, I always keep that in my head. He said that today, if you're sad or probably in a situation wherein things are going off track, don't think of it as if oh क्या हो गया यार मेरे साथ, क्या दिक्कत हो गई. Just go back 5 years from now and think of the problems you were dealing with,
Hmm.
and then think of the problems you are dealing with today, and
Hmm.
rather feel blessed that at least
Ah,
भगवान आपने मुझे इतना मौका दिया कि
ah.
ये प्रॉब्लम्स मैं देख पा रहा हूँ. मैं इधर पे हूँ. Back then,
Exactly.
I still remember there were days when I used to think यार कैसे भी करके I should earn 30,000 rupees. So now sometimes in a transaction only I spend that much money.
And you were like, I'm blessed, man.
It's not about making anybody feel anything. It's about you knowing that okay, I've come a long way. If I've done that, I will be able to do this.
Hmm. यहाँ तक
So
पहुंच
it's
सकते हो मतलब आगे भी जा सकते
so that's the motivation you always need, and I don't think so anybody can motivate you better than yourself.
हो. हाँ.
I I was fortunate that he gave me this lesson. That's always an insight for me. But I
Hmm.
could seek it is my thing. Like I could seek it, I could get the message right is also something that I should appreciate myself for, and I'm sticking to it is also my effort that I'm putting in. So I respect people around me who guide me on such things, not sometimes intentionally, sometimes not intentionally, but all of those things you have to actively see around. And like you are an artist, you need to observe
Hmm.
life to grow,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
that's how probably you can cope up with the finances also as well as the
Yeah.
creative journey also, because
Hmm.
it's a
Hmm.
balance like
Yeah,
at the
for
end of the
sure.
day it's a
Hmm.
balance.
Hmm. And you have to
That's
have
there
money. Like you have to have money, man.
for sure, for sure.
Hmm. Absolutely. Wow. Three golden tips for all of young professionals who are watching this. Once again, thank you so much for joining and taking some time out to start. Means a lot. Have fun.
Thanks
Keep
for
doing good
bringing
shit,
me
man.
thanks for bringing me up on
Thank
this
you so
call.
much, man.
I'm delighted. Yeah.
Yes. Fantastic work. Thank you once again. And for the viewers, I'm saying I'll leave every work this guy has ever done in the descriptions. Please check them out. Once again, take care and love you. Bye bye.
Thank you.